There was no breast milk coming from them.
How?
Imagine.
Right.
I always imagined when I was younger, right? I want to have twins, I'll have enough milk for everybody.
Yeah.
Nope, no milk. And apparently this is a known thing.
Wow.
My partner knew his way around.
Good partner.
And was already kind of, accustomed to having them around and, and playing around with them and everything. So
you've done well thus far with this breast. And now you want to cut it.
You want to cut it now?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of heavy? All of that, I think the concern, especially from my mom, was...
Hi everybody, welcome back to Hot Seat with Penzola. This is a show that is aimed at deconstructing societal norms. We also do challenge some of the unwritten rules that we live by as society. Today's topic is breast reduction. Now people do reduce their breasts for different reasons. It could be for health reasons, it could be because you want some perky cups, or it doesn't matter what reason it is. Bottom line is, it is there, and I've got Libertine today who's going to talk to me about her journey and what her reasons was. Libertine, thank you so much for joining me on Hot Seat with Penzola. It's such a pleasure to have you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Good. I've been trying to get you here for a while, but you know how it is. So I think let's just start. Let's talk about what your journey was. I mean, what was the trigger moment? What made you decide that you want to reduce the breasts and and design them yourself? By design I mean obviously make them look the way you want them, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
I had my breasts out very young, actually. I think probably around 11 years old. I had already started developing breasts. They were already pretty big.
Wow.
So by the time I was like 12 years old or so, they were, they needed a bra. I couldn't be out.
At 12 years old? Wow.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And over the years, I kind of got used to them, I embraced them even, I was like, okay, this is what I'm served. And, I'm excited, and they do get a lot of attention.
I can imagine.
And my friends were always very supportive of me, and they would say things like, everybody would love to have large breasts and whatnot, and then that kind of also gave me a bit of a boost in that age. You're a bit insecure about it, but your friends are like, I don't have any boobs, and then your boobs are so nice and huge and stuff. I'm like, girl, you have no idea what it's like, but I embrace them. I would think about things like breast reduction and what have you, but I think over the years I began to embrace them a lot more. It was only once I had my baby that they were really, really large. Well, not that much large. I think before I got pregnant, I was probably about an F cup, which is already kind of extreme.
Sure. Like, where do you even buy an F cup, right?
You'll be surprised. There's very few places where you can find it, but you have to go on a hunt.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be on a mission.
And I can imagine as a young girl, I mean, you speak about 11 or 12, and you've already got these breasts, and everyone wants, you were saying, like, everyone was complimenting you, and you started to embrace them, but clearly you starting to embrace them, there must have been a negative feeling before that. Do you know what I mean? Like, what was it like? Did you wake up every morning, look at them, and you're like, you don't like them because your friends don't have them? What was the, and what were your conversations you were having with your mom about that?
You could, feel that this is not normal, okay? If you look at other kids that are your age, they don't have these types of struggles. They don't have to always have a bra on. And then when I used to play sports in high school, I used to need to get like a really good sports bra type of thing. Sometimes it will even double up. I think people who have large breasts will tell you that when you exercise, I've heard from other ladies that they'll wear like a bra and then they'll strap a duke on top.
Oh my
and
word.
then have another bra
Just to try and keep them like to sit.
Yes, to hold them in place.
Yeah,
especially when you're running, because they're gonna bounce up and down and cause a bit of a distraction from your exercising.
Oh my word. Now let's go back to you had a baby. You did the embracing. It was what it was.
Yes.
And you had a child.
Yes.
And then what does that do to the F cup? To what cup now?
It was now a G cup. It wasn't so bad. But here's the interesting part.
Wow.
And nobody believes me. There was no breast milk coming from them.
How?
Imagine.
Right.
I always imagined when I was younger, right? I want to have twins, I'll have enough milk for everybody.
Yeah.
Nope, no milk. And apparently this is a known thing.
Wow.
My mother-in-law said to me, yeah, everybody knows that you have large breasts, there's nothing coming out of there. And it took me a while to actually realize this, because at the hospital, she lashed on very quickly, and I was so excited.
Yeah, and plus you're learning, you're first time motherhood, right? Yes. So you're learning how to even breastfeed.
Right.
Yeah.
And she lashed on, and I was like, yay, I'm going to start, breastfeeding and what have you. No.
And she was going hungry.
She started crying, and she was always on the breast, and then she was crying a lot, and I'm like, what's happening? So I asked the nurses at the hospital, and they said, okay, let's give her some milk, and let's see if that's.
Is this now formula? Or?
Formula,
okay.
Yes. So let's top up. I think they've got some word for that. Then she drank a bottle or so, and she was quiet, and she was all nice, and I was like, you were hungry this whole time?
So the boobies were not serving
They were not serving. And then when I got home, I got one of those breast pumps, those electronic ones, and then I put it on. And after like 30 minutes, there was only like 60 milliliters of milk in there.
Sure.
And that's when I realized
that's not a lot.
No, yeah. That was like this much, and so I kind of gave up on the journey. I tried so many things, fenugreek and all the things that you read about online. Oat milk, drink lots of oat milk or eat lots of oats. I did everything.
Sure. Now let's move away from the breastfeeding, because that's not really what we're talking about, right? But after having a baby, they're bigger.
Yeah.
How does that affect? Well, did they ever affect the intimacy? And how was that like after the baby?
Yeah.
Because, like you said it yourself, they went bigger.
Yeah.
Was that an issue?
That was not so much an issue. I think my partner knew his way around.
Good partner.
And was already kind of, accustomed to having them around and playing around with them and everything. So that wasn't so much an issue. I think the issue came. This is really where the issue came for me. And I didn't even realize it was the breast that was the problem.
Sure.
I would bend over to change the baby's nappy, and my back would hurt so bad.
Really?
Yes. And initially I thought, it must be the epidural.
Correct. Yes. Because epidural is known to have after effects, right?
Exactly. So I thought that's what the problem was. And then I found my way to my GP, and I was like, look, I'm having problems with my back. It hurts so bad. It was kind of extreme. Around mid to lower back. It was kind of extreme. I thought, no, I really need to get this checked out. And the GP was like, okay, let's do this. I can see that it might have to do with the breasts.
And you're like, really?
Yeah. And then she says to me, look, let's lose a little bit of weight.
Okay.
And let's see if the pain will reduce.
Will reduce,
right? Yeah. So over the next couple of months, I lost about 10 10 kgs.
Oh, that's great.
There were still G cups.
Yeah. So they weren't getting any. I mean, smaller.
Yes, but I was, which is
nice. Which is great. Yeah.
In other places.
Correct.
But
I can only assume that they're heavier to carry now.
Yeah.
You're a bit less.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And that's when I really started feeling it as well. I'm like, no man, this is probably the problem. And she said to me, "What do you feel about breast reduction surgery?" I just looked at her. I'm like, man, I've embraced them now. I used to think about this, maybe at adolescence age, but
why did you think about it? You say you did think about it at adolescent stage.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Did you want to be more attractive?
Yeah, there was that as well.
Yeah.
But I think when I was a teenager, boobs were in. Right, Pamela Anderson and what have you.
People were enlarging, in fact, right? So you fit right in there.
Yeah, and that's what also kind of relayed all of that worry about.
Yeah, that helped you get through that.
Yeah. So cosmetically, I think it wasn't so much an issue. Everybody had large breasts at the time; they were kind of in. So I embraced them. That's probably part of the reason I got to embrace them so much.
Correct.
By the time I was older, I was embracing them for like self-love reasons and things.
Yeah.
Now it wasn't the same as
a teenager. You know. Yeah. Fast forward to the breast reduction conversation with your doctor.
Yeah.
And
she said, "Okay, so this is what we're going to do."
But did you just agree? I mean, did you not do any research?
She said, "Consider it." I went home and I started doing my research. Okay, what is breast reduction surgery? What are the scars going to look like? Because I did hear before that there was a lot of scarring associated with breast reduction surgery. Well, that meant that the scars were never going to disappear. And
So they'd be small, but they'd be scarred. So that kind of
Well, the way that they actually do the breast reduction surgery is that they pretty much cut the entire bottom part of the breast. And then they make an incision from the nipple downwards. So that scar that goes straight down from the nipple is kind of permanent. It's always going to be there.
Right.
And also underneath the breast as well, but that one is not as, out there
Correct,
as the one in the middle. So I did a bit of research about why that's the case. It actually has to do with the method that they use when they perform the surgery.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and the most surprising thing that I found, because this is a health issue.
Correct.
This is an issue that was affecting my back and my spine and what have you.
Yes.
But the medical aid industry has a slightly different understanding of breast reduction surgery. For them, it's all about cosmetics, so they consider it for the most part to be a cosmetic.
But what happens if there's a full report from the doctor that says your heavy breast is affecting your spinal and your back?
Yes.
Does that make any difference?
That does, and that's what I went on to do.
Wow.
Yes,
okay.
And that's only because of the medical aid plan that I was on. A lot of women don't get that privilege. A lot of medical aids are still considering it to be cosmetic, despite what information you give them about your medical conditions. So that's the struggle with a lot of women that experience.
So I want to pause on the struggle a little bit and move back to the research piece. Did you speak to your family? Your friends? What did they say? Like, what were you getting positives? Were you getting negatives? Were people worried that you're gonna die under the knife? Yeah. So talk to me about that.
So, my mom and, the elder people kind of in the family were all like, oh, well, that's kind of extreme.
Right. You've done well thus far with this brace. And now you want to cut it.
You want to cut it now?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of heavy? All of that, I think the concern, especially from my mom, was, this is surgery. Surgery can be life-threatening.
Correct.
Are you sure you want to go under the knife for this reason and possibly not come back? So yeah, I think for my mom, that was the worry. It's like, okay, I hear your struggles. Well, she has the same struggles. But are you sure? Are you sure you really want to go under the knife for this? And I'm like, yeah. I'm struggling. My back, it was bad. I was trying to sit in a different way when I changed nappies and things, and it just didn't work.
And you're a new mom as well, right? Yeah. And your friends, I mean, any close friends you spoke to about it, or did you just like do the thing and then all of a sudden?
Of course, my friends are all like, yes, let's see if we can get them all perky and
yes. So, I mean, as a friend, I would have definitely supported that, you know?
Yeah, and they were very supportive.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I think the reality, or the sad reality that you mentioned, going back to what you said, is around the struggle of the money, the struggle of, if you don't have medical aid, and you do have, breast that is affecting your health, I can only imagine what that would feel like, because you don't have a privilege of medical aid. Are there any other, so having done this and realizing how privileged you are because you had medical aid, and not just any, the type of plan that you had which allowed you to do that. Are you part of any other groups or supportive groups that could, do you have any contacts that perhaps somebody that's currently watching now that may feel that that has the same problem, but not necessarily the funds to do it? What's your advice? I mean, I don't know, obviously you've been on this journey, you probably are part of a community of women that are suffering. Talk to me about that.
I found an amazing group of women on Facebook, right? Of all places to look.
Places,
because I had been to the depths of the internet, and but the kind of support that is on that group, the information that is on that Facebook group, it's called Breast Reduction Support Community.
Yeah, wow. Breast Reduction Support Community.
Yes, okay. That's the Facebook group. And on there, women share their stories, their before and after images. Not just only that, the medical aid plans.
Wow.
The medical aid, the doctors that they've worked with. So there was a lot of information there that really guided me, like information that was specific to our country. There was a lot of information out there that from the States and what have you. But that place was where I really got a lot of the information.
Because it's relatable. It's women in South Africa, right? So it's not some global community, right?
Yes. And there was a lot going on. So over the past couple of years, there have been a lot of women activists who've gone forth and taken some medical aid companies to court around the issue of breast reduction surgery. It was actually a bit of a high-profile, topic in the news. I think at some point. I think there's a couple of medical aid, the big ones, that, agreed, all right, we'll consider it.
Correct. I mean, especially if the medical reports is actually supporting this. Not obviously to look, to do a mummy, what do? They call it? It's a mummy makeover, that people decide that they want to do, and maybe there's no health issues there, but if there are.
Yes, and that's also how I managed to motivate my case, because I had been going to my GP for so long. She had tracked all of my progress and, all of the weight loss that we went, all the sort of precautions that we tried to take to remediate the issue that I was having with my back.
Yeah.
So all of that was part of the medical aid report.
How's your back now? How's your back
My
now?
postures are amazing, as you can see.
And do you feel any sexier? I mean, I know that it's done because you had medical reasons, but what does it feel like?
Oh, absolutely. I feel much sexier, but I'll tell you this, I feel much lighter.
Right.
That I never expected.
Right.
I didn't expect to feel that massive difference when I, got out from the hospital and what have you. Suddenly I'm sitting up and it feels like there was so much weight that has been lifted off of this area. I had no idea the amount of weight.
And I can imagine the new bra shopping.
Oh, that was amazing. Yes.
Yeah, and then talk to me about these F bras that you have. Did you give them away perhaps to somebody that needed them, or did you burn them? Or, there's some sort of a closure process that happened after.
Yes, I kept them.
Okay.
I would really like to give them away. I just really didn't know who I could give them away to. I suppose I could ask the ladies on the group as well.
Correct. Yeah, you could, because there are people in need.
Yes, there's still a lot of women on that group who advocate for just be happy with who you are and that sort of thing. But I find that for a lot of ladies, it really is medical issues that takes them that direction. But yeah, I'd really love to give them away. So I mean, if you can facilitate that, that would also be great. I'm sure some lady somewhere would be very happy to receive them. It's very difficult to go bra shopping with large breasts. Trust me on this.
Now talk to me about. I mean, my assumption is that you work, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So you go for a procedure, and most of us don't disclose some of this information to colleagues, and then you come back, you're like, yeah, did any of the colleagues notice, or was there any reaction that was different?
No.
Or did you feel the need to disclose it in the work environment? How does that look like?
It was a very difficult scenario because, okay, now you're announcing that you're going on sick leave for a couple of weeks,
You're announcing the sick leave. You're not sick, but
I have to go to surgery. Oh, okay, you're going to surgery. And they assume that you're going to disclose a little bit. Oh, I'm about to have open heart surgery or whatever, I don't know, but you just, kind of mum about it. And I was very conflicted about whether or not I should share much more than that. But I did have some very close colleagues that I just closed to, and they were very happy for me. They were quite happy for me. Oh wow, that's actually really nice that you managed to get rid of your
Now tell me, do you have? I mean, you obviously had the one child.
Yes.
And then you did the reduction.
Yes.
Did you have another child after that?
No.
Not.
You're supposed to wait, I think, about 2 years before you consider having another child.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't want another child though.
So you're okay with the one? And the reason I'm asking this is if you do have another child, then I just want to understand what the impact of that is.
Yes.
Will there be milk?
Yes.
Will there not be milk? Can you breastfeed? Can you not breastfeed? And maybe someone that's watching can tell us, if you know, and the answer to that, because I would certainly like to know. Not that there's anything wrong with women not breastfeeding. If there are restrictions, then of course the child can be given formula. But I was just interested to find out.
Oh, definitely. That's also something I wanted to research.
So why did they say you must wait 2 years?
So that the breast can recover from the surgery. Obviously, it is kind of a huge surgery, right? Because they kind of cut the entire bottom part of your breast and then put it back together. So it does take a while to heal fully, to such that your nipples and all the connecting parts that create the milk and deliver the milk to the nipple can come back together. But the actual healing process itself is actually not that bad. I think about 6 weeks you're probably already ready for gym. But it does take a while for the breast tissue to kind of standardize again, I suppose. But what I also know from the doctors is that there's a 50-50 chance that you'll be able to breastfeed afterwards.
Okay.
So you're gonna find out. There's only one way to find out.
So do you also have to wait 6 weeks before? I'm assuming the foreplay.
Yes.
And okay. And
after
that it's normal.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to some of the stuff that you said around the medical aid. You obviously quite privileged, I must say, that the plan you had, you have medical aid that paid for this, which gave you an opportunity to relieve your back pains and really feel lighter, like you put it. But the question I'm interested in, and whoever else that's watching that probably doesn't have medical aid or is probably not on the right plan, what are the average costs of this breast reduction? And I know you've got this very close community which you found help in the group. what are some of the amounts people are paying for that?
Yeah, that was very interesting for me as well, because I had also expected that my medical aid might come back and say no. And then I might also have to start thinking about raising funds to get it done. But it can range anywhere from about 60, 70,000 to 100,000.
Sure, that's a lot, eh?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of ladies in the group who've shared their stories about how much they needed to go and get loans so that they could get it done, and all that. So yeah.
What about those that actually can't get a loan? So maybe you and I don't have the medical aid that can pay for it, right? But we probably have resources for us to be able to go and apply for a loan. Are there any other women in the group that actually say, look, I can't even raise a loan, I don't have medical aid? Does our public service actually look at this as something where if it affects you medically, you know, can this be done at a public hospital?
Yes, yes,
wow.
It can. However,
really,
there is a very lengthy, very lengthy
I
waiting list,
okay.
And there has been ladies on the group who have waited years to get their breast reduction surgery done at a public hospital. So yes, there are ways in which you can get it done at a public hospital, but it does take quite a bit of time.
Look, like anything else with our public service, you know, there's always a waiting list. But I think what gives me comfort is the fact that it can be done. It's just a matter of being persistent and being on that waiting list. Because the back pain, whatever the impact it has on your body, it's not going to go away. And I mean, as I speak to you now, I actually remember when I was in high school, there was a friend of mine that also had quite huge breasts, but I don't think we saw it as an issue. The only thing that I knew she was suffering from is that, you know, but the particular dress that we had to wear, which was the uniform for school, you know, she could, the buttons, it wasn't big enough. Whatever size, you know, regardless of how large the size was, you know, and you could imagine the school bag full of books. And in fact, I think just before we matriculated, you know, she did go for a reduction. And I think that was probably the first time I knew that you could actually reduce your breasts. So it is a reality, and in terms of not only do people reduce their breasts because they want them to be perky and they want to look sexy, there is still a big portion of the medical impact or the impact on people's health as a result of big breasts. And I really think that's probably one of the reasons I wanted to have the conversation with you around this. So yeah,
I agree with you.
I'm just like, I'm so happy and surprised that yes, the public service does cater for it, even though there's a long list. And do you know, I mean, outside of this Facebook group, do you know of any other associations or organizations that are NGOs that are trying to help women, like women that are suffering from, you know, big breasts?
A lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them do gather on the group, and I do believe that many of the admin on that group was actually created so that it can help facilitate not only, you know, sharing information with women, but also the activism. There is a lot of activism going on, and I think there's a great deal of support that is required from the, you know, ordinary you and I in this struggle, because again, the medical aids still regard this as a cosmetic surgery, and I think we've spoken quite in detail about how it can actually be a health hazard to have large breasts, and for a lot of women it's not really a cosmetic issue. It is a health issue.
I'm gonna ask you a big favor. I mean, if anybody's watching out there and is in a similar position in terms of the big breast that is affecting your health, can I commit that if they ask a question or they comment, you will then be able to respond with whatever assistance that we can give them? Because ultimately these conversations should not be conversations just about conversating. I do think that one story at the time does actually make a difference. And I think your story is quite inspiring, even though you had the means for you to be able to sort this out and feel sexy and look sexy as you are. And not in any way are we saying that the big breasts that is not impacting health, there's something wrong with it. If you can manage it, if you know, like you said, there are places where you get, you know, F cups and G cups. But for me, it's really about you know, transforming people's lives, and where we can, you know, help by just being inclusive in whatever support groups for people. I'm asking if I can offer that.
Definitely. I would love that. I really, I aspire to be that person that you know, others can look to, because I have been in that journey, and I also really wish I had somebody I could talk to about this, and I was very glad to find the people in the group. And you know, it gives you a lot of information. I even found the doctor that actually did the surgery on that group. She's one of the most amazing people I've actually ever met. And another interesting fact that I need to tell you on this matter is that, you know, side boobs, you've got your breast, and then you've got that little that's actually breast
where you sometimes can't actually wear a particular type of dress because there's this thing that's coming out, right?
That's actually breast tissue as well.
Really?
She told me this. She's like, it doesn't matter how much you exercise, how much weights you lift, that side boob is never going to go away, because it's breast tissue. It's actually a breast. You've got 4 breasts
that are coming out. Wow, I didn't know this.
Yes, and a lot of the time medical aid doesn't cover that. They also didn't cover that for me. So I still have some side boob, but I'm okay.
But you're okay with it. You know, you got your size, you've got your cup B or cup C there, something like that. But Libertine, this has been such an interesting conversation. I think we could actually even have more of this. But I think for me, just the message that is coming across is, breast reduction is not always about making yourself look sexy. It really isn't. There are real health issues that are linked to having, you know, oversized boobs. And I think, you know, we need to be supportive. We need to find the right groups so that we can get and learn and research and do all sorts of things in order for us to be able to you know, help each other. Guys, once again, do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Libertine has committed to answering some of your questions, and perhaps you could also share the link to the group where somebody doesn't necessarily want to ask a question and they just want to click on the link and they can then, you know, join the group as well. I'm happy if you do that as well. But thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure. And guys, it's been a real thing. I love these conversations. Catch you in the next one. Thank you. Cheers. Today's topic is...
Cool. We start again.
Take 2. Take 2. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome back to Hot Seat with Penzola. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Blooper number 2.
Blooper number 2. Okay.
Speedy. Where am I? Yeah.
Wait, so where do I look?
No, look at me. Look at me.
Lipstick.
Done?
Okay.
Oh.
Am I here?
Yeah, you are perfect, Felish. You are perfect.
I know. You know, one of those things. Alright, can you...